Hey, hello everybody. This is founder Laerun. I'm going to build characters using the D&D 5 rule set and Fantasy Grounds Classic Ultimate version 3.3.9. We're getting close to having Unity upon us, but for the most part, this information will still be valid, so you won't have to worry about changing too much as far as how you build your characters. They will be providing a better character builder with that version eventually. But until then, most of these videos are still valid. If you have anything specific you want to build, I will hang around for a while and sort of check out things so that perhaps you might want a request or something like that. So if you have a specific build you'd like to see, or if you want me to build you a character for an upcoming game, whatever it might be, I'm willing to do that. My main goal here is to show you how to use Fantasy Ground. But if you are still kind of learning and you're unsure about the process and all the details that go into it, this would be a great opportunity for that. So if you have any sort of inclination to learn how to use Fantasy Grounds, build characters, or make a custom uh, character build or something kind of different, we can explore that as well. So if you have anything specific in mind that you would like to build, I'm open to it. I do have a lot of sources. Um, I guess it would just be a matter of how you want to do it or what type of character you want to build. I'm pretty much open to anything as long as it's not too sexual or overly crazy. Um, yeah, so I'm going to start loading up some materials in the library while people gather around. So, first thing I always do when I create characters is I usually set up my tabletop. And it's very important that you do this to make life. So right now I'm just kind of repositioning my windows. Once I have them in place, I'm gonna go ahead and lock those. And I always have the combat tracker in case I need to test something. But if you ever want to remove all the characters at once, if you change them to hostile or neutrals, you can actually go change them all to hostile. Go to menu, click delete from tracker, and delete all non-friendly, and it'll get rid of all of them. Instead of individually have to delete. I think that's a good tip to know, especially when you're trying to clear your table quickly. That is a very quick way to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be doing one at a time. Next thing I'm going to do is check the library. So as you can see, I have quite a few of Rob 2E's coding packages. I have a trinkets module loaded. I have most of the main character creation modules. I'm actually going to add some other ones. Xanathar. Okay. So here's a module, Xanathar Scroll of Lost Subclasses. I'm going to load that in case. And then there's the Xanathar's Guide to Everything. I'll load that. Then I also want to do Mordenkainen. So you have this nice search field. So I will do player's edition of that. I'm going to load Matacure's module that we just created a little while ago. It basically allows you to create almost every character type or race from the monstrous creatures module. So this has creatures from the monster that you can potentially create a character from. So I'm going to go ahead and load that. And while I'm here, I'm going to load Bolo's Guide to Monsters. And let's see. Monstrous Races right here. So if you want to know where to get that, it's on the DM's Guild. It's totally worth it. It's not even that much money. And you can build a whole bunch of different character types. I'm also going to load this comprehensive equipment manual. This was put out by Wraithright Productions, but Matakiri and Rob published it, and John, or we know him as Matakiri, he actually converted the module. So that is a really cool book. Has a lot more equipment and such in there, and other things like mounts and that sort of stuff. So quite a few books here to draw upon. Let's take a look at some backgrounds. Maybe I want some additional background. So I'm pretty much loading up everything I can think of. Great characters. So here's Heroic Races. That is from, I believe, Cobalt Press. And there is the Underworld Races and Classes. Now this stuff I'm loading now is pretty much third party. Here's some backgrounds from the Underdark. Alright, so here's some Baldur's Gate stuff. So if I wanted to use the player side, that'll help me with backgrounds and such. So this is Heroes of Baldur's Gate. And then there's some spells that come from Baldur's Gate, so I might use those. And then if you wanted to use some of the background subclasses from other modules, you can load the player side. So like Saltmarsh has a player side, and that has a bunch of background and different things that are for nautical. I also have this adventure called Pirate Adventures. So if you wanted to make something nautical, you have that. There's a lot of variety. The variety is the spice of life. So I just enabled all the different banners. But if I want to, I can click on Create PC. That will narrow that down. So right now, I just have loaded a ton of things to work on. So again, we're using the D&D 5th edition rule set. I have all of the main character creation books, plus a bunch of supplementary stuff that comes from the DM's Guild. So if anyone wants a specific character, maybe you need one for an upcoming game, or maybe a high level character, or just something you want to look at, let me know. I haven't set my mind on anything in particular. So if you want to see a specific character built, such as a celestial or something that's not as common, or maybe you want something very specific for a campaign setting, I always like building Underdark creatures and things that you can run in a campaign that centers around Underdark. Forgotten Realms stuff, any of that. Even Ravenloft, I have a few things that help with that. I can load that up. Also, there's some of the less common races. Like most people don't use the Shatterkai or the what is that? The Gith or the Githyanki. And then there's also the new Eberron stuff. So if I go into my library, I'm going to load that up just in case, because that has the different builds in it, different races. So Eberron's Rising from the Last War. So if I load that, I'll have some more options. Mordenkainen's Lost Notebook, that also has some good stuff in it. Let's see. Yeah, so that has spells and NPCs in it. So I may want to use some of the spells because they're different. And here are background. So Child of Bahal reincarnated the awakened clone and the last emperor. So those come from specifically from Baldur's Gate, but they are backgrounds that are kind of unique for adventuring classes. So if anyone wants a specific character built, or perhaps you would like to suggest something, I'm totally open to it. I was thinking about creating a bard, but I was going to either use a unique college or a unique race. I thought of making a kind of a bardic satyr. I think that class would fit very well with a bard, although it might be a little overkill. But a Fey-inspired satyr with a bardic class. And I don't think very many people play satyrs. I really like centaurs and satyrs and you know things like that, minotaurs, anything with horns, basically. Uh, the yak people or the Yakira, I think they're called that in the Alchemy setting. But I always liked those races, and I thought they'd be kind of cool as unique, kind of niche character builds. I don't see using this kind of build for something that unique in any setting, but in most settings, I think it would work. I also like building like really custom Underdark characters. Even if it's just a drow, I always have fun with those because there's so much uniqueness to them, and they have a lot of cool abilities. So this depends on what you guys like or what you're into. I don't really have anything specific in mind, but I think I will build a satyr since I don't have any requests or anything. So I will start building a satyr. So the first thing I have is the module that I have loaded is the monstrous races. And this module comes from the DM's Guild. So if you haven't checked this out yet, it is awesome. Basically, the monstrous races gives you ability to build a character based off many of the somewhat humanoid type creatures. Not all of them are humanoid, but for the most part. Um, it just gives you a lot of different races. So if you go down this list of characters, or excuse me, of races, you have a lot of different choices. You can even play a gibbering mouther. So basically, you could play anything. Be a hag or a nightmare if you wanted to. A Myconid Sporge servant, so that's a template. If you wanted to be a werewolf, there's a template for that, or a lich. You could be a revenant or a skeleton. So mostly the undeads are templates. But anyways, you could be a wraith or a Wanti, which is already kind of covered though. So these are give you ways to actually have a character race that's not very typical. You can play a mind player if you want. So this is a kind of a cool way to check out character builds. There's an Etten that you could potentially play. So I think I'm going to do the Satyr if it's in here. Let me double check that. So Satyr. Yep, right here. So Satyr, they get +2 to Dex, +1 Charisma. They're a Fey creature. Their alignment is kind of hedonistic, but they like to celebrate and such, so usually they're chaotic neutral. Um, you have a walking speed of 40 feet, which is decent. You have advantage on all saving throws against magic. You can read, speak, read, and write Common, Elvish, and Sylvan. So satyrs have a pretty cool build, so that would work in perfectly with probably with a bard or maybe some sort of roguish type. So maybe like a satyr assassin. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and maybe you could make him a spy. I think that would be good. Or perhaps a mastermind or a scout. So anyhow, I'm going to get started. So for the first thing I'm going to do is go to the character section. And I'm going to hit this green plus button. And that actually allows me to get this started. I'm also going to place this character sheet out as wide or lengthwise as I can, and maybe about this, so I can really look at all the different aspects of the character sheet. And that later on, it'll get very crowded. So the next step is going to be how to do the stat. So you can put in the standard array. I think I'm going to roll the 4d6 method. So to do that easier, I'm going to right click on the 6-sided dice, click on 4, and then drop it into the hotkeys. And now I have a macro. Sorry about that. So there's an 11. Okay, so these would be like your rolls if you were going to do this method. So this isn't too bad. This gives you an 11, a couple 10s, a 14, and a 11, another, let's see, 13. So it wouldn't be too bad of a start. Or you can do the standard array. So 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. I think I'm going to use the rolls that I actually rolled up instead. So I have a 10. I think I'll leave that for the strength. I don't think the satyr needs to be that strong. He does need to be charismatic. So I'm going to put the 14 here, which is taking away 2. Because he's going to be a bard. And then the next stat would be this 11. So I want to actually take this 12 here. I have to take the lowest off. So that'll be his dexterity. And then for his intelligence, I probably want to put an 11 there. So that'll be this one. Then I have to put a 10 somewhere else, so I'll leave that intelligence. And then I have a 13. So I think I'll put 13 on deck. And 12 on wisdom. So that's not too bad for rolling a character. So that was based off the 46. So that just really depends on what you want to do. So remember, this guy gets a +2, and he gets a +1 on charisma, and a +2 on dex. So that's kind of why I stacked it up this way. All right, so now the background. Let's see what we have. So this guy is going to be a bard. So maybe he's an Emerald Enclave or courtier, maybe? Nah. Maybe an exile. Maybe he's no longer wanted in his homeland. That'd be kind of cool. So I might use that. Hermit might be a good one. But I don't see that for a bard. He has to go to a college. Let's see. Spy. Might not be a good thing. Yeah, he gets deception and stealth. Yeah, I want to make him a spy. So that's that. So a satyr spy. Okay. And now for his race. So I'm going to open up the races banner. Satyr right here. Okay. So he's got 40 feet of movement. And now his dex is 15 and his charisma. So he's not too bad of a character, considering I rolled it. Alright. So that is that. Okay. And now for class. So I'm going to go ahead and open this box up here. This is the class and level window. And I am going to look for class that I need. So here's Bard. So drag this in here. And now I get to pick 3 more skills. So before I pick anything, I have Deception and Outwitted Stealth. So I'm going to pick up Acrobatics, Perception, yeah, and maybe Sleight of Hand or Survival or Investigation. He's a spy, so maybe Insight or Investigation. Probably Investigation. Let's see what it says. When you look around for clues, you make deductions based on the clues. Make an intelligence check. You might deduce the location of a hidden object. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. So go ahead and do that. So now he has all his different skills. And now I'm going to level him up. So all I do is grab this little pin here, drag and drop it. It adds the features as you drag things over. So I already have all that. And now I'm going to have to pick a college. So what do I have here? I have College of Lore, Valor, Glamour, Swords, Whispers, and the Mirthful Mariachi, which is a bard college. Huh, interesting. So I'm just gonna use the College of Whispers. So this kind of gives them a more darker, kind of somewhat sinister background. Okay, so that's that. His name is Canifaro Knight. He's a satyr spy, and he is a bard of the Bardic College of Whispers. So that is pretty cool. So now that he has all his abilities, or most of his abilities, and his skills, now I'm going to go ahead and detail the rest of his skills. So I'm going to go to his abilities. He gets Jack of all trades, which he gets to add half proficiency for everything. So I'm going to do that now. So anything he's not proficient with, he gets a half. Which usually adds up to +1. So even if you have a crappy score, you'll still have a decent chance to succeed. Now, I get to pick specialty in 2 different classes. So this expertise, yeah, you choose 2 of your skilled proficiencies that you're already proficient with. Okay, so to be expertise, I am going to say his ability to lie is going to be very good, and his stealth or maybe investigation. I think stealth. So with his stealth and his lying abilities, make a good spy. Okay. So that gives him double his um, proficiency bonus. So right now his proficiency bonus is +2. I think at level 4 or level 5 that changes to +3. So that will be something that will come in handy down the road. So as he levels up, he'll get better and better. He has a Psychic Blade, Song of Rest, Words of Terror. Creature type is Fey, magic resistance. So I have to hold on to that. And his Bardic Inspiration, I'm going to keep that out here. I have to find out who his criminal contact is. That's more of a backstory lore thing. Jack of all trades, I kind of already took care of that. Psychic Blades, Song of Rest, Words of Terror. So these are the things I gotta develop or look at later. He already has 3 languages, that's decent. Okay, so I'm gonna sit on this for a little bit and start thinking about his backstory and how I'm going to further build. So hold tight, and I'm gonna take a 2-minute break. Well, let's see. So I was thinking about this guy, and he has some instruments. So he gets 1 gaming set, thieves tools, and 3 instruments. So that is pretty. So I'm going to pick some things here and add them. So here I'm going to add 4 different lines. Thieves tools, pan, and drum, and a lyre. So he's proficient with all of those. What else did game set? So he likes cards. Okay. So he likes to do his card tricks and performances. That's based off charisma. The hand drum, I would say, is based off dexterity. Lyra is probably charisma as well. Pan flute, charisma. Thieves tools, doctor dexterity. So that should be good. I don't see a whole lot of expression on hand, but for the others, probably performance on it. Nonetheless, it's got all these additional skills. Gaming set, thieves tools, the instruments of choice. Alright, his instruments, skills, done. Okay, so I can get out of now. Let's see. Okay, so good to go there. Now this type this away. Light armor. Okay, gonna have leather. He gets a hand crossbow, long sword, rapier, short. Okay, have probably and maybe a dagger, maybe some throwing. So he's a spy. So probably ranged weapons would be his favorite. Let's see. All right, so inventory. So I'm gonna give him. Let's see. I just didn't give him arsenal and background equipment for a spy. So he got a crowbar, a pouch, common clothing, now for bard stuff. All right. So he has 2 cases or maps, chest, common clothes, fine clothes, crowbar. I give. Oh, he's got a dagger. He has a lute. Change that to fire. That is rapier, oil flasks, pouch, soap, vial, sealing wax, some writing pencils. So here's what I am going to first of all grab some instruments. So he has a hand, thieves tool. So free dragon and set dragon cards or playing card set. I think it's set. I'm gonna give him one potion. He's third level, so one potion. And he already has leather. Now he needs a crossbow. So it says he can crossbow. Can. And some ammunition. Case. So case for crossbow. Does he have any? Does he- So here's the water skin. That's full. He has a lamp. Give it to him. Let's give him a light. So he has food and water. Storage pouch. Right. So that's that. There's all his gear. Now I'm working on this. He has this heavy chest. So I am going to put all the stuff where? I can find clothes. That. I have two empty squares. So I'm going to put his instrument. Keep his pan. So his healing potion and his playing cards and pouch. Along with rations will be in the chest. Sealing wax will probably. These tools. So what I'm doing is organizing. So items are now contained. So I put his chest, load that up. In the crossbow bolt case, I'm going to there so that the item cross. There's this hand bar chest. He has a dagger. So he's got a rapier, water skin, pouch, got clothing. So right now he's wearing about 86 pounds. So if I wanted to store the chest, say that all the stuff is got all his bag and crossbow, some stuff. Maybe. Oh yeah, I was gonna give him some item. Throwing daggers. These are designed mostly. And I'm gonna give him the sheet and throwing dagger. So he has 3 seal. So that takes care of that. So let's see. Now for his note. It's gonna be chaotic. No save. It's gonna look like he's around 29 years old. It's hard to say. He's 5'5". I haven't decided on. So under the spy, all the way down. Nope. Start with claws. When I see some value, oh, it's choice. I choose money. There's a plan. I'll have it tail that I turn tail when things look bad. An innocent person in prison for crime. I'm okay with that. No, that actually sounds kind of cool. So that person in jail instead of. Alright, paying off the debt I owe to generous benefactor, bond I owe God gain support my family, some I must back. I will come here to seek to live. So, someone I love died. honor, change of charity, greed, people. I'm personality trait are always calm, sing everything. I would rather be a friend, incredibly trust those top have pride. They don't pay attention to risks. That's what they get some I blow up so I like that's best way to get me to do something say I can't. Like help on the log sheet about that. Now the action tab. So I have 20 crossbows, one regular dagger, rapier. No. So now I'm start building the action. Might get a little bit lost. Your voice is a little off, sort of choppy. Okay, thanks. I don't know what's causing that, but hopefully it gets better. Hopefully it's not my equipment. Is that any better? Okay, let's see. Now I'm going to start building the actions. So I'm going to click the edit button and I'm going to make a section, a new group. So this group is going to be for his gear, like his supplies. So on the right hand side, I just type supplies and you have to click over here so that way it updates this header. Otherwise it'll stay saying powers when it's really not. So I went ahead and clicked on this star a few more times. Now I'm going to copy and paste this into these cells. There we go. So this one's going to be for his oil, flask of oil. This next one is going to be for his potion. This next one is for his water. Next one for candles. And last but not least, his rations. Or we call them food. Okay, so now that he has those items, I'm just going to make an easy, convenient way. Now you're louder. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think I had my mic positioned close enough. Now I'm going to basically start changing the usages. So I'm going to get out of the edit mode. And I'm going to change the mode to preparation. And all of these are going to be changed to once, because you're only going to use these one time until you have to replenish them. Now candles, I have 5 usages. Oil flask, 2 usages. 1 usage for the healing potion. 5 days worth of food. And 1 water skin. So now when I change this to combat and actions, now I have usage buttons. When I use something, I just check these off. They don't tie into your inventory, but it just make it convenient so that you can use them as you play, and then later on update your inventory. So I'm going to add the healing function to the potion of healing. So I just right click on the potion of healing, click add action, click this plus button, and now have the heal function. So now I have to define it. So all the way across, there's this light colored, kind of hard to see magnifying glass. If I open that up, I'm going to right click on the 4-sided dice, click 2, because I want to pick up 2 instead of just 1. Drop it there, and then for bonus, I put 2 there. So now, this is an actual rollable dice that will heal if you apply it to somebody. So you have to drag it to yourself or your allies. But nonetheless, the functionality is there. So the next step is I'm going to build another section. So in the edit a section again, and I'm going to click add power. It's really not a power, but this is going to be a group of entries to basically set up all the standard actions you can take during a round. So with standard actions, I'm going to actually use Rob Tui's module, which is the coding effects module. So I'm going to hit spells, which is a spells banner. And I have in the library, I have these extra modules loaded. So I'm going to go to the 5e effects coding class feature. Now I'm going to just add these 4 actions. That's where they're stored. So these are actions you can take instead of attacking or casting a spell. So those are ready to go now. So now we have those 2 sections to keep track of things. Yep. So now I'm going to do the class features since I'm already in this group. So these are stuff to do with the bard. So class features. I'm going to go ahead and look for bard. Here we go. So I get bardic inspiration. I get, let's see, bardic inspiration. It's a D6. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. So my charisma modifier is 2. So if I go to preparation, I click 2 here. So that'll set up usages. It changes to a D8 at 5th level, so we don't have to worry about that. So that one's done. Words of Jack of all trades. So that is there. That's a continuous thing. So what I would do here is just leave that. So I'm done with that. Words of terror. That scares the bejesus out of people. Song of rest. It gives you a little bit better healing on a short rest or long rest. And then psychic blades. That's there. So they do 2d6 psychic. You can do only so once per round on your turn. The damage gets higher at 5th level. So I don't need to worry about that. Now, that is all the bardic stuff. So Jack of all trades. The Jack of all trades would be a daily, all the time thing. Psychic blades is you can use it, but you have to expend one of your inspiration points, and you can only do so once per round on your turn. So then you have Song of Rest, which at 9th level it gets up higher, but you basically get an extra d6 of healing at the end of the rest. So that would be for a short rest. And then your Bardic Inspirations twice per day. And Words of Terror. It says targets fright for an hour. If you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. So, in preparation, I need to change this to rest. And then once. So you can use it, but it's after a short rest. And then there's a saving throw involved here. Yeah, so you can't use it until you finish short or long rest. Okay, so all the class features are done. Now the racial, I'm going to have to kind of make this up. So it says you have advantage on all saving throws against magic. So what I need to do is create a new group. So this is going to be racial abilities. For the Satyr. So I need to make sure it's in the right group. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so magic resistant. So I have to make an effect that will be continuous. So Rob Tui actually has most of the codes figured out. There's another module called conditions and effects. So those show up in the effects in the conditions area. Now, what these do is advantage save. You could do that. And then you put magic afterwards. So let me see if there's anything here under magic. Yeah, so magical ambush. So dis-save all. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an effect that's going to use this wording. So it's going to say advantage, save, and then it's going to, at the end, it's going to say magic. So let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to right click on this and add an action, which is a function. And then in this case, it'll be an effect. So right now it's a blank effect. So we're going to call this is a Satyr's magic resistance. So that's just the description. And then I'm going to put ADVSAV. With a colon. Magic. And then targets is just going to be self. So this is an ongoing effect. Pretty sure that's how that goes. So advantage is on save. The condition is magic. Now let's double check for magic resistance. Alright. So if I was playing this character and it's on the combat tracker, I would always get this Jack of all trades and then the magic resistance. So we'll see what this does. Double checking to make sure I have that effect correctly. Magic resistance, fantasy grounds. It might be resist magic instead of... No, because it's... Yeah, that's right. I think that'll work. So the only way to really do it is to attack himself. So when I get the spells on here, I'll cast it on himself and see if it rolls with advantage or not. Okay, so speaking of spells, now I want to take a look at the spells for this. College of Whisper. Okay. So there's no extra spells or anything really. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the library. Excuse me. The spells banner. And I'm going to change this to spell. 5 VFX coding spells. I go at level 0. And then source is going to be Bard. So first level, I'm going to have, or actually these are cantrips. Vicious Mockery. And probably Friends. So those are based off of charisma. So there's 1d4 psychic. Yep. Okay. So that's that. Now, first level, I'm going to have Charm Person, maybe. Well, Fairy Fire for sure. Sky's Self might be a good thing to have. And then Dissonant Whispers. Trying to kind of keep with the theme of the actual college. Because they're kind of secretive and they Distant whispers. Okay. And then that takes care of that level. Now level 2. Get a couple of those. So Crown of Madness. And I want to say maybe Silence or Hold Person. Visibility might be too. Yeah, visibility. That will really lend itself to the actual class and what he does. Yep. Alright, so this guy is set up to be a spy. He's pretty much done. I can't think of anything else. He's got his supplies, standard actions, all his spells, class feature, and even his racial ability. So now I want to do, I'm going to just roll to see if that magic resistance really works. So I'm going to first target him with Crown of Madness. Of course he saves. Let me do it again. Yeah, see, he has advantage on that right off the bat, so that really helps. So there we go. So it works. Now I'm going to remove it and see if that changes anything. So as a player, you can actually remove this temporarily. Now let me roll the Vicious Mockery. Yeah, it just rolls 1 die. So that was exactly right. So advantage on saves versus magic. So if I click on magic resistant, now when I roll, it rolls at advantage. So Vicious Mockery. He succeeded again. So there we go. So it'd be very hard to use magic against this guy, which is kind of sucks for magic users. Alright, so I think that's about it. If you want it, I can export it. I think I'm going to spend a little time doing some auxiliary stuff. So I want to get a nice little photograph for him and a token. So it's not like I don't have tokens for him, but let me check. All right, cool. So here's a satyr looking guy. So I can use that for his token. And then for his actual portrait, let's see. I'm going to use, let's see here. I'm going to use a photograph and then crop it and use that for this. So let me see if I can bring something up. Display capture. All right, so there's the display capture. Not very big. Let me see if I can increase the size a little bit bigger. Yeah, better than nothing. Okay, so this will just show my regular display besides Fantasy Grounds. And what I'm going to do